Hey everyone, and we're glad to see you on the second lesson of our motion design course. So we've learned how to draw something inside After Effects, but it is pretty common practice when you need to animate illustration created by someone else in Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. There is no need to recreate it inside After Effects from scratch. Program supports import of AI, PSD, PSB, EPS, PDF, and files of many other formats. Let's consider the case when illustration is given to us in Adobe Illustrator format. Import attached to the lesson file, Lesson to Galaxy AI, and in this drop-down select Composition, Retain Layer Sizes. So that composition with the same name has appeared in Project panel. Open it. Switch off the grid visibility. And what a wonderful thing! Each object is on separate layer. Pay attention to one thing. Any separate object you want to animate in After Effects separately should be on its own separate layer in Adobe Illustrator. Since we import the vector format file, it must be scalable with no quality loss. So let's check it. Select the sun layer, scale it, and no, it's not vector. By default, it's raster. But don't worry, it's really easy to fix. We can do this in two ways. The first one is to check Continuously Rasterize box of a layer, here. If you don't have this box, press Toggle Switch Modes, or just press F4. So now let's scale Sun layer again, and see that we have no pixelization. The second method is to convert vector layer to shape layers. Right-click on a layer and select Create Shapes from Vector Layer. New shape layers were automatically created. So we don't need Adobe Illustrator layers anymore. The main advantage of this method is that everything was automatically recreated using After Effects tools, so that we almost have full control under each element. We can change color, stroke, paths of shapes, but few disadvantages and difficulties still exist. The first is that opacity of layers and gradient fills or strokes are not supported in this kind of conversion. And the second is you can see these rectangular shapes around our objects. These are some kind of artboards from Adobe Illustrator. The opacity we can handle manually. For example, select clouds layers and set opacity value to 10%. It's like in original now. And artboards can also be handled manually. For example, select Shine layer, open its contents group, open group 1, this is our first circle of shining, and you see the merge paths and the another group 1 inside our group. This is an artboard. You can remove it. Of course, deleting this manually is annoying, so here is the good news for you. Script that can solve this problem exists. It calls Explode Shape Layers. It's unfortunately not free. You can buy it on aescripts.com. And here's the magic button, Remove Artboards. Click it, and bam! No artboards. You can undo conversion if you don't want to remove artboards, because the next thing we're gonna cover is parenting. You can work with Adobe Illustrator layers. Let's create planets animation and find out what is parenting. You can change composition duration to 5 seconds, press Ctrl K to open composition settings, change the duration here. So select the blue planet, move its anchor point to the center of Sun, hold Ctrl to enable snapping while editing anchor point position. And now let's create animation of planet rotating around the Sun. Open rotation property of blue planet, create a keyframe in the beginning of timeline, move to 5 seconds, and change its value to 1 turnover. Nice! Now let's make our small yellow planet a satellite of blue one. It's not necessary to copy keyframes from rotation property and change anchor point position. We can do this faster and easier using parenting tool. All we have to do is set the blue planet as parent layer for small yellow here, in this column called Parent. If If you don't have this column, just right-click on these header columns and check the parent. Move to Start of Timeline, select the helix, which is called Pick Whip tool, and drag it on a layer you want to make parent for current. Or just select the parent layer in this drop-down. Now satellite moves with the planet. Let's create satellite rotation around blue planet. For this, select yellow planet and move its anchor point to the center of blue. And animate rotation property. Set a keyframe on the 0 frame, move to 5 seconds, and set the value to -2 turnovers. Take a look at the result. Good. So we have created the animation of a really small galaxy using parenting. Parenting is really useful thing in After Effects and motion design in general. It makes your work easier, so you have to know about it.